Welcome back to Been There, Watch That. We're on episode 50. It's a bit of a milestone. A couple episodes ago, episode 48, we did Nightmare Alley. That's an Oscar nod pick where we went and checked out what was up for Best Picture nominees for the Oscars this year. That was a pretty good one. Then we switched gears a little bit, did the Tinder Swindler, episode 49, and now episode 50, Dave's pick, 1994, Forrest Gump.
Hold on, is this my pick?
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought we were doing it as the 50th show special
Well,
extravaganza.
We can do that.
Either or.
I just said it was on my list, so I didn't mind. But I assumed that we were cutting in front of mine because of the special.
Okay, we can. It doesn't
All
matter.
right, all right. Don't be trying to cheat me out of a pick.
I'll put special 50th episode.
Yeah, there we
go. Okay. Yeah, you talked about was something affair, the
Thomas Crown Affair.
Thomas Crown
That's
affair.
where I wanted to
then
go,
like,
but yeah, they're
you know
like,
what,
yeah, it's a
episode
special
50.
show. Yeah, it should be special.
let's go with something kind of classic. And man, I am not upset I watched this. I've probably seen it 8 or 10 times, but we were talking this morning. You know what's coming, and it can still.
It still
It's
hits
still,
you.
still good.
Yeah.
I mean, I was tearing up. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how many times you watch it. Jenny at the end,
I mean,
I think at this point, like if it doesn't hit you with Jenny at the end, like basically there's something you need to check yourself. There's something going on.
the way it bounces humor and kind of uplifting moments, but then also just totally crushing sadness of what his story is. I mean, it
What
is a unique movie.
and what I find crazy is, I've watching it this time from an analytical side. I found myself going, yeah, there's a lot of quotable lines and all that, but if you stop and think about it, it's not that really funny of a movie.
No, well, no,
Because I'm
it
thinking
is
about
not. It is not.
Because think about it, it's a boy that grows up that is has some
Bullied.
mental capacity issues.
Yep.
That's bullied all his life.
Yep.
Ends up in a war.
Loses his best friend.
Yeah, his best friend dies in his arms.
Yep.
The only girl he's ever loved doesn't love him, and the only person he's ever relied on is his mom. She dies, and then the girl he's always tried to go after, she finally comes back into the picture, but then she gets sick and dies, and then in the mix of all that, he finds out that he has a son. So now he's literally raising his son by himself. It's like, man,
Yeah.
this sucks.
Yeah, you're right. The story is full of adversity and sadness, but he brings some humor here and there just because he's like earnestly, I don't know. When he goes to boot camp, just he's like, I must have did something wrong because I was getting yelled at on the first day.
Yeah.
Just that he doesn't quite understand what boot camp is, and just funny his earnestness of like, oh man, I'm getting yelled at. He doesn't realize like that's what it is. Like,
Yeah, I like his answer too. He's like, "What are you supposed to do? Whatever you tell me to, drill sergeant.
Yeah.
That's the best answer ever. You must be the smartest man on the planet."
you must be a genius, Gump. Oh man.
I don't know. Originally I thought, what is going to be the line out of this that everybody thinks of? And mine was Lieutenant Dan,
Yeah.
because you can know that anywhere, but that's not the most famous line out of the movie.
It's not I'm dizzy, is it?
No. Gosh, Joe, really? That's where you're going with this?
That was.
It got X-rated in a hurry with Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Really? Forrest Gump getting X-rated?
Oh man.
All right. Anyway.
Well, I had to get that out of the way.
Yeah. Here we go.
Messed up the roommate's.
Yeah, bathroom. That's what I love. And so it's not really funny, but there are those scenes, and it's just like, I love when it pans over and the roommate's sitting there with their eyes real wide. And it's like, ugh.
There's a certain. They take liberties with reality. Like some things are exaggerated. When he's running away from the truck, basically he runs faster than any human possibly could.
Right.
But it's just kind of, they create this world where the things are kind of sometimes get elevated a little bit. And
Yeah.
like his boat somehow like turns around and smashes through a dock, and you're like, well, that's not realistic, but still entertaining.
Yeah.
Like this bigger than life story where he runs literally across the entire country like twice. It's like maybe not very plausible, but
that part's actually based off of a real person that did a similar activity to that.
Yeah.
So are you guys ready for the rundown and the
Yeah,
casting
give
call?
us the breakdown, man.
All right. So if you have not seen Forrest Gump, 1, why? Where have you been?
Yeah, what have you been doing?
And 2, here's what you've been missing. So slow-witted Forrest Gump, played by Tom Hanks, has never thought of himself as disadvantaged. And thanks to his supportive mother, played by Sally Field, he leads anything but a restricted life, whether dominating on the gridiron as a college football star, fighting in Vietnam, or captaining a shrimp boat. Forrest inspires people with his childlike optimism. But one person Forrest cares about most may be the most difficult to see. His childhood love and sweet but troubled Jadney. So for the casting,
Like peas and carrots.
so for the casting call, the movie stars Tom Hanks, and he plays Forrest Gump, and he's known for Castaway, Big, and Saving Private Ryan. Robin Wright plays Jenny Coran, or Jedney, as everybody knows her as, and this makes her second time on our list. She plays in The Princess Bride, which you can listen to in our archives.
Yeah, episode 36.
And she's also known for Beowulf. Gary Sinise, plays Lieutenant Dan Taylor, and he's known for Apollo 13, Of Mice and Men, and Ransom. Sally Field is another repeat offender on our list. She plays Mrs. Gump. She's known for Steel Magnolias, Smoking the Bandit, which is in our archives, and Lincoln. Rebecca Williams plays the nurse on the bench at the very opening of the movie.
Oh, nice.
And she's known for the Sisterhood of Traveling Pants and In the Heat of the Night. Harold Hertham plays the doctor. He's known for JFK and Tin Cup. George Kelly plays the barber, and he's known for JFK and Interview with the Vampire. Bob Penny plays one of the cronies that you see in the barber shop, and he's also a repeat offender. He's known for Sweet Home Alabama and My Cousin Vinny. He was one of the jurors.
Okay, yeah.
Sam Anderson played the principal, and he's known for Water for Elephants, Airplane 2, the sequel, and La Bamba. And Saboan Fallon Hogan plays Dorothy Harris, the bus driver, and she's known for Men in Black, Seinfeld, and Saturday Night Live.
She's in a lot of stuff, yeah.
And McKelty Williamson plays Bubba Blue, and he's known for Fences and Heat. And that is your casting call.
This is based off a book.
Yes. A very strange book at that.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? This movie was offered up to a lot of people, a lot of different actors, and the main character and Jenny's character, and a lot of them turned them down.
Oh, yeah.
And then Hanks came in and said, hey, I'll do it, but I want a percentage, no salary. What a move.
Well, but do you know why?
The movie was struggling. It almost didn't get out of the production phase.
Yes, but do you know why? So, did you guys watch the Netflix, The Movies That Made Us?
No.
Part of it, yep.
Okay, so
I fell asleep, but yeah.
what had happened was Warner Brothers owned the rights to the movie. But then Rain Man came out and just blew everything up.
It won Best Picture the year before or something.
Yeah, and they was afraid that people would have said, this is too much like Rain Man, so they scrapped it. Then one of the producers left Warner Brothers, went to Paramount. And they sent it to Paramount, and Paramount fell in love with it. Well, fast forward a little bit. When it came budget time, Paramount said, this is way too much money for all this, because it was going to be like over $55 million to do this movie. And
which was in line with a lot of movies of the time.
Yeah.
But they're like, but this is not a blockbuster type of...
Right, they didn't think it was worth that kind of money.
Right.
So, to help save money on some of that stuff, both Tom Hanks and... let me see, there was somebody else that took...
They took pay cuts?
Yeah, they both took pay cuts, and so Tom Hanks wanted a percentage of the profits, not his actual fee.
And I think in one point I read he actually had to pony up some money to keep the production going.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I mean, who does that?
Yeah.
Just another one of those... If this had gone a different way, that maybe never exist.
Exactly.
But the actor wasn't willing to give up literally millions of dollars, a couple $1 million.
Yeah, Bob Zemeckis, one of the producers. But they
Chipped in
think,
their own money to keep this thing going.
yeah, but they estimated his percentage points that Tom Hanks actually received out of the movie equaled out to about $40 million. So it, you know,
Yeah.
so they made out all right.
It made like 400 million or more.
Well, this film grossed 600 million worldwide, but it didn't turn a profit at the end of 1994.
Yeah.
So they had to pay 61 million in distribution fees, and then subtract the 73 million towards advertising and making prints. And the budget cost them 50 million. Hanks took about 61 million for their fees. Yeah. Theater owners took their cut of 159 million. When it's all said and done, Paramount's gross receipts were about 191 million.
But the U.S. box office alone made over $300 million, and it came in third as the highest gross movie ever, falling third place behind Jurassic Park and E.T., but it did beat out Lion King.
You know what's crazy is that this got mixed reviews. Entertainment Weekly gave it a C rating, and then said it reduced the tumult of the last few decades of virtual reality theme park, a baby boomers version of Disney America. And the LA Weekly revisited the movie in 2014, said it's so afraid to dredge up debate that when Forrest is speaking at the anti-war rally, someone unplugged the speakers and we can't hear him. Fitting for a movie with nothing to say.
Really?
Yeah, and that blows my mind. I'm like, this movie is such a neat rendition of history that, you know, and how somebody can stumble through it. It's just funny.
Whoever wrote that needs to be monitored, make sure they're not a danger to the public. Or
They need to adjust their meds.
Wow.
Yeah, because actually,
Nothing to say.
That's LA Weekly, 2014.
yeah, because what's crazy now looking back at it is this movie was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the National Film Registry in December 2011 for being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant.
Well, one of the things Tom Hanks wanted was for all the history to be accurate.
Yes.
That was part of his contract deal, was that all the scenes depicting something from history had to be accurate. You know, like Watergate, stuff like that. You know.
Yeah. Oh, but I love
So many
how
tidbits in there.
yeah, I love how they tie in Watergate.
Yeah.
He calls a friend. Is there somebody over there that must have blown a fuse or something?
Because Nixon, he goes to visit Nixon. He's like, I saw the president again for
Yeah.
the second time. And
Third time at that point.
he tells, Forrest tells Nixon what hotel he's in. He's like, oh, no, I'll get you set up in a much better hotel. And then it goes to him at the Watergate.
Yeah, he watches the Watergate scandal go down.
He phones it in, gets them. Yeah.
IMDb's highest rated movies of all time, it's number 11.
Wow. You know, and it's kind of funny that the soundtrack is wonderful.
Yes.
But I have trouble when I read this because it says more than 30 songs on the soundtrack. All the bands featured were American. But then it goes on to say, except for Fleetwood Mac, which, though formed in England and not in the U.S., Fleetwood Mac did contribute one song to the film and on the 2001 Special Collector's Edition soundtrack. So it's hard to say, well, they were all American, and then say except.
Yeah.
So that means they're not all American.
Right.
I just hate that kind of crap.
And they,
and you're so close. That's one of the things that the film's executive producer, Bob Zemeckis, felt strongly about. Well, then don't let Fleetwood Mac in the door.
Right.
Come on now.
Yeah, nothing against their music, but
Yeah. If you're going to say all the songs are American because Forrest Gump wouldn't have it any other way, then
right.
Stick to your guns.
But that soundtrack was the biggest soundtrack in history.
Oh, it is an amazing soundtrack.
And that's one of those things where I'm sure the studio did not want to give them as much money as it would take it, but they went through in the editing phase and just said, here's the songs we want. We're going to try to make it happen. Like, however much it costs.
Well, they finally sold them on it. They finally made like the first cut with those songs in it.
Yeah.
And then Paramount finally said, you know what, we have to have those songs in there.
That's the way you do it. You don't ask beforehand, can we get these songs? You just put them in there.
Yeah, it's better to ask for forgiveness than it is permission.
Yeah. Crazy. I mean, I was blown away that the Vietnam scenes were actually shot in South Carolina.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the big scene where Forrest is running with Bubba, that was all one take. That wasn't CGI. That was actual explosions.
They gave him permission to blow up this forest because they wanted to do a golf course there.
Yeah.
That's how they got it.
And here's the real crazy part: is while all that was going on, the director was in the bathroom.
What?
Yeah, they filmed that scene because they had one take to do it in, and I guess they assumed the director was there. He was in the can,
Oh,
and
man.
here's all these explosions, and comes out and just loses it because they had one chance to do this, and luckily it all fell in perfectly.
Yeah, the movies that made us, when they're interviewing all the people that were kind of the movers and shakers of getting this movie made, you get a sense of like how many blow-up fights there were, people fighting to get this movie made. Some people that believed in it, and obviously the higher-ups want to do it for cheaper and cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah.
And then they'll send a producer to the set and say, hey, the studio says you got to cut this or that, and they're basically cuss them out and say, get off the set.
Yeah, like
We're doing it this way.
yeah, we're gonna do it this way. We're not doing it
The
at
whole
all.
running montage, that was not cheap, and they told him no, you got to cut that out, and they basically went against the studio and secretly went out and just filmed it anyways.
Yeah, like they had like a secret protocol that they called it, and they had Hanks and the director like flying his private jet, just these random spots, and then they even had Tom Hanks's brother do some of the double as a runner.
I think you take that running montage out, it doesn't completely kill the movie, but it's significant.
Yes.
It's kind of a transition.
Yeah.
For me, it was a transition and I did, it's what we always say. I didn't think about it in these terms until we watched this movie as a critic. And then I watched the running montage, and I was just like, man, it's a transition in his life
Yeah.
that prepares him to meet his son.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's out
You know
there
what I mean?
running
Without
for
that,
three years.
without that running for 3 years,
Yeah.
he'd have been mowing the field and wouldn't have had this introspective that you feel like he needed.
Yeah. Tom Hanks' younger brother Jim Hanks doubled for him in numerous of the running sequences. According to Jim, Tom had other doubles, but they couldn't do the run, referring to Forrest's geeky, stiff stride. And he said, quote, "That's a stupid Hanks thing." So it's a family trait.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the running scene, as long as it is, I don't know how long it is. I mean, it's several minutes long. But still, you feel yourself sucked into that journey. It's like, you don't feel like it's, they just put this in as filler. When you say, hey, it's like a several-minute running scene, if any other movie you said that, you're going, well, that's just kind of dumb. But when you see it play out, it works.
Part of it, you're kind of like, he's like, well, when I got tired, I slept, and when I got hungry, I ate. But then you're kind of like, how is he buying food? But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's not something to get hung up on, but
Yeah.
it kind of doesn't really. It's meant to be a little bit fantastical.
Well, he had the shrimping business. He had the money from the shrimping business at that point.
he's
So
able to-
Yeah.
who's a gazillionaire?
well, not that I mean physically, he didn't have any cash on him,
Right.
or
Well-
he had to go to banks constantly. I don't know how he would do it.
See, and Justin, I was thinking the same thing. When you're running like that back in that day, it didn't like you got your credit card stored on your cell phone or something.
Right.
Right.
How's he paying for anything?
Yeah.
I got hungry, I ate. Well, where'd you eat at?
Uh-huh.
How'd you make that work?
And they literally running like thousands of miles.
Well, okay. Well,
it's meant to be a little
okay.
bit
Well,
fantasy, I think.
it's very plausible because we're looking at here in 2022. This is back. Okay, so at that point in time, it would have been in the 70s when he was running.
Yeah.
In the late 70s.
Mhm.
That was when people just still trusted people. So I don't see, and with Forrest being kind of a slow wit, somebody saying, "Oh, well, we feel sorry for him. Why don't you come home with us and sit down and have a meal?" I could still see that happening with no questions asked.
Sure, but I mean every day for a couple meals a day.
Okay, well, think about it. So then he starts gaining celebrity.
Where did all the other people eat? Because like when they're in Monument Valley, he's got like 70 people with him.
Right. But he starts gaining celebrity, so now people are wanting him to eat wherever.
Yeah, I
it
don't
makes
know.
good celebrity.
I don't buy it.
You don't buy it?
I just wonder if maybe it'd be possible for him to say, "Hey, I'm I own this Bubba Gump thing. Just bill it to the company or something." Maybe that'd be the only way around it.
It's possible.
But no one believes him that he is a millionaire.
Yeah, I
one
mean
guy
he's literally sitting at the bench and
That one
nobody
guy
sitting there believes him.
On the bench is like, I've heard some tall tales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard some zingers in my day, but this tops them all.
Yeah.
I was sitting next to a millionaire the whole time.
And you said it so convincingly.
And then he shows them the old lady, him on the cover of Forbes.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like,
Fortune
"Oh."
magazine and
I mean, what an interesting way to tell this story is like different people at different times come and sit on this bus bench. And he's just talking up strangers. Basically.
yeah,
And they change, like the first lady's not all that interested. And then the guy comes in, and then the older lady, it's like, I don't know. It's a good storytelling mechanism, just kind of blends into the background. And you go on these big journeys in the movie, and then it kind of flashes back. Oh, Forrest has been sitting here the whole time talking to people on a bench.
yeah. Just anybody that'll sit down and listen to his story.
I mean, it doesn't seem like this movie just has 1,000 different stories in.
Oh
one
my
movie.
gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. How do you keep track of all of them? Or
It's constantly moving.
But what's crazy is
changing
there's
scenes.
so many stories going on, but you can still follow along easily. It's not one of those like you jump into it and you're going, okay, I'm lost. It's like there's so much going on, but yet you're able to follow along very easily.
And the way they transition scenes is so like smooth because it'll be with Forrest for a while and he's in Vietnam, but then he's like under this little tent in the pouring rain and basically saying, "I missed Jenny and I wrote her a letter," but it's like I hope she's doing well. But then it flashes to the
what
other
she's
side of
doing.
the world where she is.
Yeah.
And she's in all sorts of drug trouble and yeah, just yeah.
Yeah, it's very
Whoever wrote this, genius.
for a complex story. It is so easy to understand and comprehend.
yeah,
It's based off a book, right?
yeah.
Yes,
It's based off a
But
book.
They,
The
they-
book was different
They
though.
ran away with
Like in the book, he was 6'6", 240 pounds. And they wanted the author wanted John Goodman to play Forrest Gump,
Mm.
which I cannot see.
Oh yeah. So do you guys want to play Who's Who?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
Would You
There's-
Rather?
I know there's a long list there.
Yeah. Yeah, so going back to the book real quick though. Yeah, the book, like he was a professional wrestler at one point and an astronaut and all that. It was so okay. So for would you rather for Forrest Gump?
No. All of the above. No.
Well, so before you even get started, you're just nixing the idea.
Oh, no. I'll listen, I guess.
Okay, Bill Murray,
No.
Justin,
No.
John Travolta,
Nah.
Definitely not.
I
Chevy.
can almost see Murray possibly not Travolta.
Yeah, Murray possibly, but
He's a little too silly, though, I think.
yeah, John Travolta absolutely not.
Nope.
Chevy Chase,
No. He's too... Yeah. Him trying to pull off the dim-witted thing, I think, would come off totally wrong.
Dave,
He's too, like, suave, I think.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know how Justin feels about this with the strong nose, but I kind of agree. I just can't see anyone pulling off the accent and having kind of that, and not. It's so weird because Tom Hanks, any other role, Castaway or whatever, he
Right.
doesn't seem to play the simpleton, so to speak.
right?
But man, did he ever just crank a home run?
What a
Well,
fine line.
That accent he uses and kind of the
flirt
blank
with.
stare,
Yeah.
Well, now
the
I've,
haircut.
I've got a story for the accent. So
Yeah,
but
yeah. But I'm just saying, you
yeah.
know what I mean. I can't see like John Travolta or Bill Murray or somebody pulling off that accent with that southern crackety drawl and
right.
and having that blank stare. That's why I was trying to think of when you said it. I was like, I just can't see Bill Murray staring off into space and thinking, yeah, there's nothing going on there.
Yeah.
Or John Travolta.
It's like he may be slow, but he's not. He's still. There's something there. Like he's not. Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't let it like totally define him. He's
Right.
still. He's aware of that he's slow, but he doesn't
Yeah.
make that his whole identity. I
Right.
don't know. Well, I mean,
Right.
to pull that off.
Well, do you guys know how Hanks came up with the
Yeah, the-
voice?
The kid that played him as a child
Yeah.
Yeah.
actually spoke that kind of like that.
Yes, that's
and
how he.
borrowed it.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that was the first little Forrest or young Forrest, however you want to call him, had never acted before. That was like his mom just took him in there just to try it out, see if it was fun.
Yeah.
And
Do you-
boy,
Do you know where he is now?
living off the royalties. I looked up his IMDb and he's just started a couple of acting roles since then. But
Really?
yeah, within like the last 10 years, he's done. a
Okay, I was
couple
gonna say he joined the army right after that.
Yeah, yeah.
He joined the
Well-
army, did an 18-month tour in Iraq. That's about all it says on this one fun fact
So,
I'm
like,
looking at.
10 years later or something.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
That's one of those things. How many different pieces where things could have gone one way or the other and totally changed or made this movie impossible?
Exactly.
I mean, the
Yeah.
voice. Redo the whole movie with no voice or something. The accent. I mean, just does not. I can't imagine.
It doesn't translate.
Exactly.
I can't imagine it being the same movie.
Okay, so we're still on Forrest here.
Yeah.
Okay.
John Goodman.
Nah, I mean, I know the book has him as a big guy,
Right.
but I just can't see it. There's no way like a
There-
6'6", 240 guy does the shrimping boat and the army
The
and
running.
the running. Yeah,
Yeah.
just doesn't work out. But I also know in the book that he's supposed to go into space and does a lot of different weird stuff.
Right.
I don't know.
Goodman being a ping pong ace. I can't.
Yeah, I
picture
mean, how do you have a
Forrest
6'6", 240
Kind
guy?
of almost made sense. Like all he needed to know was never take your eye off the ball, and then he just like zeroes in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's he's kind of a skinny, lithe athlete,
Yeah.
able to do the ping pong, able to be in the military and run. I can't see somebody bigger than him doing that.
Yeah, because, I mean...
And
John-
the whole would you rather thing, I can't see John Travolta or Bill Murray running across America like that.
Right.
Hank's kind of skinny and has that.
Well,
He looks like he could do it.
Right. Well, and with John Goodman, this is in the middle of his run on Roseanne, so he can't
Yeah.
drop a bunch of weight for this movie
Yeah.
role and interfere with...
He wouldn't look right.
Yeah.
There's no way I would say, oh yeah, John Goodman, even if he dropped weight, would run 3 years.
Right. Okay, now this one is going to be an interesting one. Bill Paxton.
I don't even know who that is.
He played in Twister. He was...
Oh yeah. He
Yeah.
plays a lot of background roles.
Yeah.
Nah,
Justin?
Yeah, probably not.
I'm going to say, I think out of that whole list, I think he would be the closest
is the
one
closest. Yeah,
to be
He is the
possible.
closest,
Right.
but nah.
Yeah, I almost said maybe, but
Okay, so for Jenny, oh no, actually let's do Bubba. So for Bubba, there's another big list. David Allen Greer. He was
Nah.
on In Living Color.
Yeah, nah.
Justin's looking him up.
maybe. I don't
Maybe.
know.
I mean, Bubba played a role, not what I would call a huge important role, but man, I like this. His stature, his little bit of heavy weight, not like fat or anything, but
Just big.
yeah, a little bit of bulk to him. He's a Bubba.
Yeah.
I could see him as a kid being a little bit bigger kid, big lip and being like Bubba.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I like when he gets on the bus, like, he named me after one of those redneck boys. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
That took me because I'd never really paid attention to that, and I was like, by golly, what a line.
Okay, how about Ice Cube?
No, gosh, no.
Justin?
Way too serious.
I don't know, but yeah, I think that would just take us out of it to have a very known celebrity. Yeah.
Okay, what about Dave Chappelle?
Nah, too skinny and small.
Justin?
Nope.
He actually turned this role down. Dave Chappelle could have had this role, and he
Yeah.
turned it down and has regretted it ever since.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, but I don't think it'd be the same with
I don't
Dave.
think so
You know what I
either.
mean? He's
Yeah.
a comedian. He's a
Right.
small little comedian. There's no way you'd call him Bubba.
Right, but at this point, he was still kind of unknown. This was before the
Yeah,
Chappelle show.
I know,
and all
I'm
that.
just saying.
But still, yeah, just the stature of him.
Yeah, it requires a stature. Now, if you said John Goodman, I'd be like, yep.
Yeah. The rapper Tupac.
No.
Too small.
Yeah.
Okay, how about Chris Rock?
Nope, too small.
He's in the news.
Yeah, right. I was like, ooh, what timing?
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy.
Nope, too small.
I don't like the idea of a big name doing Bubba.
Yeah, if you're going to call
That ruins
somebody
it for me.
Bubba, you got a Bubba.
And Martin Lawrence.
Too small.
No way.
Uh,
Well, he might be able to pull it off a little bit.
I'm still with Dave on this. I'm the stature for
Yeah.
me.
Mm.
Okay, for Jenny, Jodie Foster.
Nope.
Dave.
I'm going to say no, but I'm not sure why. I saw her in the
Sounds like-
Panic Room,
Yeah.
and she just plays more of a. Although Jenny's kind of serious, but I don't know if I can see her as the hippie chick.
I was
But
about to
maybe I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. It doesn't seem like she quite has that hippie vibe to her.
What about Nicole Kidman?
Definitely not.
That's what I thought.
That one's so far off, it's crazy.
Justin?
Well, I have to Google like what they look like in 1994.
Okay.
And no,
She's Australian, tall redhead,
no thanks.
and got the Australian accent.
Yeah.
I just nah,
Okay, what about Demi Moore?
maybe.
Maybe.
Mm,
No,
No.
yeah, I kind of say no too.
I don't think she fits into the Southern world. I don't think it makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's true. She does not look Southern. See, that's what I liked about this lady. She had the long blonde hair, kind of wispy, had a little bit of Southern charm about her.
Now, this last one, there's only one other Would You Rather, and I'm anxious to see your guys' take on this one. For Lieutenant Dan,
Lieutenant Dan.
Joe Pesci.
No.
I've heard that's got to be a joke. Nothing against Mr. Pesci and his work. We've well, I mean, My Cousin Vinny, it speaks for itself. I mean, we gave it high ratings, but for some reason, I just cannot see why anybody would have even considered Joe Pesci as Lieutenant Dan.
He could be the hard nose and bust Forrest up a bit, but I don't think he could do the vulnerable, lost my legs, and the whole scene on the boat with getting.
Nah. He's not a
the
lieutenant in the
storm.
Army. I don't care how you look at it.
Yeah.
He's too short.
Yeah.
Robin Wright, though, I mean, I thought, yeah, no way you'd switch somebody out for her. I thought Jenny was just the bedrock of the movie in terms of moving it along and keeping Forrest like in love with her the entire time. It made sense.
So let me pose this question to you guys: is there any role in the movie that you say, you know what, if we had to change this character, that this person could possibly fit that role? Is there anybody?
Maybe you could switch out somebody with Sally Field
Yeah, it's tough.
as the
too,
mom.
though.
Because, I mean, she did a really good job. Don't get me wrong. She
Right.
did a fantastic job. I
Right.
just mean she played a little bit of a role, but nothing that you couldn't swap out somebody else with.
Yeah.
You know, anybody that fit into that flowery dress, wear a hat, Southern woman.
Yeah.
I mean, she did it. She did a great job. I'm not trying to take anything away
Right,
from her.
right,
I'm
right.
just saying that her role wasn't pivotal. They had to have that certain thing.
But that is an interesting take, because that's one thing I'd never thought of. Is like, but I can exactly see where you're coming from. She did a phenomenal job.
Mhm.
No complaints at all. But she is one character that you could possibly swap out with someone else and still not lose. Well, I guess in the right context, it would be if you get the right person. 'Cause,
Yeah,
I mean, you could
I just
put the
mean
wrong person and really screw
put
it up.
somebody else in there that's a little heavier, a little taller, a little shorter. Well, as long as they fit the age range and they
Right.
have a Southern accent.
Right.
So, yeah.
So we may like this movie, for us being old heads, but I mean, what do you think a 15-year-old today, if they put this on this evening, what would they
Ooh,
come away with?
good question.
I mean, it depends for every kid. Every kid has slightly different interests, but I mean, my dad loves this movie, and I've come around to it. When I was younger, though, I kind of didn't understand anything that was going on when I first saw it.
Yeah, I think you got to
Okay.
have a little history knowledge base to catch all the little tidbits, like knowing the different presidents. I don't know that
Right.
kids now would know what JFK or Nixon looked like.
Or
George Wallace. Who knows who George Wallace is anymore?
Right.
yeah, they'd be
There's
like,
all kinds of
who's that guy standing in front of the door of the college? Like, what does that even
Yeah.
have to do with anything? If you don't know about the integration of the schools and stuff in the South, I mean,
Right. Well, and just even the littlest details. For example, did
But-
you guys catch when they flew in on the helicopter? One of the guys had on his front vest had a picture of Alfred E. Newman and said, "What me worry?"
no.
Yeah, I had never caught that until I started watching for this time. I had to say, Amazon or the Paramount, whoever digitized this and improved the quality over the years. Thank you, because I caught stuff that I had completely missed all the times I've seen. Yeah, the guy sitting across from Forrest had Alfred E. Newman drawn on his vest and it said, "What me worry." It's like, how many
Yeah.
people would catch
yeah.
that
Huh.
and know what that meant?
Yeah.
And Forrest in a hotel saying, "Oh, there's some guys with flashlights at the Watergate." I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't know what that's about, that would be
Yeah.
It wouldn't make any sense and wouldn't matter at all.
Right.
It's like, okay, some guys are. with
Yeah, he's at a
flashlights.
hotel. Big whoop.
Yeah. I mean, the Elvis thing too. Early on, when he's a little kid with his braces on his legs and he's shaking around, he's like, "Oh, I saw that guy." Basically, took his dance move.
Yeah. It's one of those. I'm thankful that cancel culture hasn't, because I mean, this movie is phenomenal and love it to death. But guys, am I wrong in thinking that there is plenty of targets on this thing that cancel culture could just chew up and spit on?
Yeah, I mean,
And I'm thankful that they haven't. But
what would you think the number one target would be?
oh, the N word, no, without a doubt, that'd be the first thing that they jump on.
Yeah.
I think they can get away with it because it's historical. Like,
Well, right.
That's what I was going to say. I don't know
and
that
that's why
that's used in a context that would be too terrible.
Well, that's what I'm getting at is
Yeah.
nowadays the way cancel culture goes, it doesn't matter.
Uh,
Like they could just stomp on it with both feet, and I'm just thankful. And I'm not saying that it's right, but it's historical. It happened. I don't care what you say, right, wrong, or
right.
indifferent. It happened, and
Well, I think it's different though. Like, have you guys ever seen 48 Hours with Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy?
no,
Okay. It's an 80s film. You know, Nick Nolte's a policeman, Eddie Murphy's a convict, and Nick Nolte uses the N-word, and it is, the context is just horrible.
yeah,
And I can't believe that our culture back then said this is okay of a portrayal, even though it's a movie, you know,
Right.
and I know it's made up and make believe or whatever.
right,
I can't believe it. I saw little clips of that, you know, last year, and I was just like, man, it's super racist,
Yeah.
super racist. And I was just like, this is crazy that we were okay with that. You know, whereas when watching Forrest Gump, I didn't feel like it was something that was, you know, out of context.
right,
I didn't flinch and be like, oh man, that's rough.
right.
So I don't know.
But it's one of those. I'm because that literally.
Do you have
honestly,
another example? Let me hear one. Do you have a different one?
Well, just okay. Well, the war itself, the Vietnam War.
Yeah, the anti-movement.
Yeah.
The protesters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. I think I like the historical accuracy, which is one of Hank's big deals.
Right.
You know, there were protests against the war, you know, and I found it interesting. You can actually go see what he talked about. You know.
Yeah.
Did you guys look that up at all?
Cena read it to me.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and spill the beans on that. 'Cause
Well,
that's
just some
pretty-
people lose their legs. Some people don't come home to their mamas. You know, that's all I got to say about that. That's the gist of it. But, you know, he didn't take a stance. He just says this is what happens at war,
Right.
which is pretty neat. I don't know. Different deal, you know, the whole Black Panther Party being tied into that.
Well,
But
okay. so,
it's kind of one of those things where it's like, sorry to fight at your all's Black Panther Party.
Yeah. but
He
what's-
thinks it's a party.
yeah. Well,
It's a meeting.
and here's where it gets really interesting. You have the KKK and the Black Panthers mentioned in the same movie.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, the irony, he gets his name from a great military leader.
Yeah. So that's the
He
thing.
ran around with his horse and bed sheets on it.
Yeah, so that's another example of
Yeah.
cancel culture just jump. You mean to tell us that we're promoting a movie that the character was named off of a KKK rep? I mean, this is one of those things that cancel culture could have just. And I hope we're not giving these Nimrods ammo
Yeah.
to cancel this. But I was a little nervous going into this, watching it on a streaming service, because I was afraid that it was going to be sanitized and censored and all that. And I was afraid that it somehow had slipped through the cracks of being sanitized. But I was thankful that it wasn't.
it's got a good heart, the movie, so I think it'll be able to. Anything that just like the word itself might be controversial here or there, but I don't think it will ever be changed.
That, or by the time everybody gets to where Jenny dies, that's just it's like, you know what, I forgot about the rest.
And it's implied that she had AIDS or
That
a
part,
virus?
It's just coincidence because that all happened at the time that they were struggling. The timeline matches up.
yeah.
But from what I saw in Fun Facts, they kind of leaked out that it was hepatitis C
Well,
because there wasn't a cure yet.
I've read both. I've read it both ways.
From doing needles.
Yeah, I mean,
through
hepatitis
heroin.
C is
Yeah.
similar to AIDS and how
Yeah.
it spreads and so forth. So, same timeline, same fit. Either one could have matched, but I saw where the director, whatever, shoot, his name starts with a Z,
Xenakis.
yeah. He said it doesn't matter. That the whole point is there's something that could get you.
Yeah.
Right. But
People
yeah,
don't
I've
know.
heard it go both ways. It could have been AIDS or Hep C.
Well, it makes you question if her and Forrest slept together. If she.
Yeah, see, that's their
what
saying.
the timeline is if she had AIDS then or
Yeah.
Right.
or HIV. I mean.
Well, we assume that she contracted it from her drug days, but
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you guys know that there was a sequel in the works?
Man,
I knew that they had one, but I don't know how it would work. I just
please don't let that happen.
Well, okay, so here's what happened.
hold on. So I'm going to back up a little bit.
Okay.
So hepatitis C, I wasn't sure about this, and I just looked it up. You become infected with hepatitis C by sharing needles, syringes, or other equipment because it has to go through the blood. So it sounds more like, I agree with you, Justin, if she had HIV, she would have spread it to her son or to Forrest, but hepatitis C, she wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So that makes more sense.
Yeah, it's just weird. She said like a new virus that they don't know what it is,
Yeah.
and that kind of lines up with
Yeah.
it coming around
HIV.
the 80s and or
Yeah.
not quite the 80s, but almost
Now,
the 80s.
hepatitis C can be transmitted through sexual activity, but it would have to be, something messed up in that. Okay, all right, sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Okay, so there was actual talk and works in Forrest Gump sequel, and it was going to cover the 90s. So we was going to get Forrest Gump with OJ, and he was going to be with Princess Diana,
Mm-hmm.
and they had even worked out where he was just
What?
happened circumstance to be there during the Oklahoma City bombings.
Oh my gosh.
But
Sounds terrible.
the morning of 9/11, they was actually going to have a meeting to sit down and discuss, go over the script. And then when the towers got hit, everybody decided, you know what, there's way more important things going on than this, and they just completely scrapped it and never looked back.
Yeah, it's like in some cases, the behind the scenes of this one, you're like, well, thank goodness this movie didn't get scrapped, and then you hear about the sequel, you're like, well, thank goodness that did get scrapped.
Yeah. Although
Goes both ways.
when I first read it, he was going to be, because I was sitting there thinking of the 90s, like, ooh, I almost would have loved to have seen how he would have found himself with OJ. But then when they said that he was going to be in the back seat, because this article I read said that he was going to be in the back seat of the car with OJ, I thought, now come on, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
Now, if he was there, if he seen OJ jumping the fence or seen OJ getting a Bronco, okay, I could believe that. But now you're just being dumb.
Yeah.
And then,
They're taking it too far.
yeah. And
So I want to play my part that I always do. If
okay.
you're thinking one scene, if you're going to describe one scene to somebody about Forrest Gump when you're trying to talk them into watching it, what scene would you portray?
Oh, man.
It's tough because there's about 7 or 8.
Okay, the scene where the feather floats up in the air, and then when the feather floats at the end, that way you have the whole movie.
Wow.
Yeah, watch those 2 scenes. And
Well,
everything in
and
between.
we'll watch everything in between those 2
Yep.
scenes, and you've got it. Man, this is a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when I watched it this time, I kind of forgot about the ping pong until I saw it again. My favorite scene is, when he's running, and it's, against the wind, Bob
Yeah.
Seger.
Yeah.
That's kind of my scene. I'm like, yeah, he's searching his soul and running, so it's about a guy that's does whatever comes his way. Or the shrimp boat scene, I don't know which. Running though with the against the wind. I thought that's such a great iconic scene in Glacier National Park.
Yeah.
I think it's
Almost
Mirror
didn't happen.
Lake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part he paid for, but I'm like, that is such an iconic scene. But-
Yeah, the glacier scene itself, because the Paramount was okay with all the other locations. Then when they said we're doing Glacier, they said no,
Yeah.
you're not.
Yep.
So that
Not worth the money.
yeah, that one right there almost made the cut.
I think it was though.
Made the cut.
Yeah,
Justin?
he and Jenny being reunited at the rally on the Washington Monument was pretty good too.
Oh my gosh, you're right. That is an iconic scene.
Yeah.
walking out in
into
the water.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm calling bunk on that one. I've been to the Washington Memorial
Mm-hmm.
or in the
Lincoln
water
Memorial.
or the Lincoln Memorial, and that water was not that clean.
Well, yeah.
'Cause I was there in 2000,
Especially back when they were there, a bunch of hippies.
Yeah, it was green and stagnant and disgusting. I'm calling bunk on that.
Yeah. Her white dress would have been stained for sure.
Uh-huh.
Come out of there green and moldy. Algae eaten. Yeah.
Pretty
Okay.
cool the relationship between Lieutenant Dan and Forrest. Like how much Forrest, just by being a kind-hearted guy, like kind of brings Lieutenant Dan around from the depths of like
Yeah.
depression and
Oh yeah.
PTSD.
PTSD.
And, yeah.
Where when Lieutenant Dan shows up at his
Wedding.
towards the end, and he's got the fake leg.
That's one of my favorite scene
Magic
teams.
shoes.
Magic legs.
Yeah.
I got-
Lieutenant Dan. I like it when he introduces his fiancée. He's like Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah. and
He's shy about what.
and
he-
how
what's
to
going on.
turn that around that Lieutenant Dan's engaged to a Vietnamese woman.
Yeah.
And,
the
and
two of them on the boat together. I don't know. Just so much was like kind of chipping away at this hard exterior of
Mhm.
Lieutenant Dan and kind of opening back up to like having some
Yep.
hope in the world.
Yeah, because he was all about. He's supposed to die there with his men, like everybody else in his family.
yes, for me, I've got two, Bubba and the shrimp boat. Those two are
Yeah.
packed for me.
Yeah.
So Dave,
Yeah.
where are you at?
I still like running against the wind,
Mm-hmm.
just because I don't know. I've been to Glacier National Park. I've been to that lake.
Did you run up the road just to?
I did not, to be honest
Oh,
with you. That's why.
really?
Yeah, I was sitting there. And I was like, I've been there. I swam in that lake.
Really?
Yeah. Just because I was like, it's in Montana, and
So next time, so what you're saying is next time you
next
get
time
that
I will
opportunity-
run up through there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just kind of crazy. I mean, man, I don't know. I think for me, it was kind of, he's traveled all over. He's been all over the world, but then he's traveling, and you got to kind of travel across America, and that's a pretty iconic song, and it's just kind of him, and I'd almost say him in the heartland, but kind of him at, just a beautiful place in America, collecting himself,
Yeah.
and good song, and
Spiritual journeys on there.
yeah, it's kind of
He's
like,
been through so much, and then that
Yeah.
run like helps him.
yeah. So that's kind of
3-year run.
yeah, 3-year run. Justin, you're a runner. Could you run 3 years like that? You think?
Probably not.
How long do you think you could run?
I mean, maybe like a week, 7 days in a row or something. I don't know.
Oh, you've done more than 7 days in a row.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, okay, yeah, but not for 8, 12, 16 hours though. You got.
How long do you think you ran a day?
Yeah, it's
I'd say at a minimum 8 hours.
that
I don't know.
montage is a little funny, yeah, because it makes
Yeah.
it seem like he's running like constantly.
Does he run at night?
No, because he said when he got tired, he slept.
Yeah, but I mean, you get tired and sleep during the day. I like taking naps during the day, Joe.
That's true.
And I'm a night owl, so I don't know. That's weird. I don't know. I didn't think about that. We were talking about earlier how feasible that was, but I mean, my gosh, I don't know. Could a person? I mean, ultra marathoners and stuff run long ways, a lot of time. But
Those 100-mile races, yeah, they sometimes take naps in the middle of the race. Academy Award winner, Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actor.
2 years in a row. There's very few that's won 2 years in a row. He won for Philadelphia the year prior.
Best Supporting Actor, Gary Sinise, nominated, didn't win. I wonder who beat him.
Well, that's a sham, whoever it was.
Yeah.
Somebody was able to outact Lieutenant Dan somehow.
But now
What year was that? 1990.
94. But for Gary Sinise, this movie,
Tommy Lee Jones from The Fugitive.
I like Tommy Lee Jones. Don't get me wrong, but that's bunk.
That's a solid movie, but that's with Harrison Ford, where he's the one-armed man.
Yeah. The what?
The one-armed man, like, actually killed his wife, but he gets pinned for it.
Oh yeah.
So Gary Sinise, this movie made a huge impact for him.
Yeah, I do like this part, the feel-good part that comes out of it.
So okay, so let me get my notes here.
Also won Best Film Editing Academy Award, which I agree with as well. The way they transitioned the scenes is unique.
Now I know I've wrote that down. Okay, so in 1994, Gary Sinise received an award given to disabled veterans for playing a disabled veteran. So he got that, and he also created the Gary Sinise Foundation, helping injured soldiers and veterans. Plus, inspired by Lieutenant Dan Taylor, the military veteran character he played in the movie, Gary Sinise co-founded a rock and roll cover band during the mid-2000s called Lieutenant Dan Band. The band often goes on USO tours to play the U.S. military personnel stationed around the world, and also plays various benefits for veteran-related causes. Sinise was awarded the Presidential Citizen Medal in 2008 for his charity efforts. So one movie role,
Yeah.
and he's gone on to play phenomenal roles after this, that he still to this day has ties to Forrest Gump. Between his foundation helping wounded veterans and soldiers, and helping support our troops by going overseas and entertaining with the USO. Phenomenal.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. Lieutenant Dan. You know, he started a music group, Lieutenant Dan Band.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. I just now saw it, and it didn't register with me. I just found that funny. Lieutenant Dan Band. Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was in more movies than he was.
You know
Seems like you've seen a
the
lot.
running montage where he finally stops.
He was in the Green
He's
Mile.
got the crowd behind him of
Yeah.
people, and that just huge open like western desert landscape where you could just see for miles. The studio was like, don't just shoot it like in California. We've got like a dirt path out back. And
Yeah.
they're like, no, this has to be epic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one part that he's getting ready to cut. I was like, no, that's just stupid.
Just go down to the canyon down around the corner and do it there.
Oh, if you're gonna do that, why don't you just do it in the dumpster in the back lot? I mean, come on.
What you guys think of, their doctoring up of historical footage, to make it look like Forrest is talking with JFK or
John Lennon.
or Lyndon Johnson or
Yeah.
I
I thought the Lyndon Johnson, there's a little part with the Lyndon Johnson where it was like looked a little cheesy
Yeah.
CGI, like
A little bit. I mean,
You
you
could
gotta.
tell there was
This
some
is
editing.
1994. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is when CGI just first started really taking
But
off.
then Lieutenant Dan's legs though, it's like seamless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some of those the archive or the
It's
historical
amazing.
footage looked a little, I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like I said, because I saw it too, like the mouthing didn't, but it's like,
Yeah.
this is what they was working with.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really knock it too bad.
Yeah.
But then the Lieutenant Dan scene, so the scene where he's on the boat and he swings his legs around, they actually cut out that part of the boat so he could swing his legs normally, so it wouldn't look out of place if he tried to raise his legs too high to get over the hump.
Right.
And CGI'd all that back in, and I looked for that in particular to see, and it is seamless. You
Yeah.
cannot see.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was ILM, like they do all the Star Wars stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or that eventually became Pixar. ILM, Light and Magic, or Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah, Industrial Light and Magic. Yeah. Yeah, that's what's, and a lot of people, when they first showed Lieutenant Dan in the hospital bed, first thought, oh, well, he just has his legs tucked somewhere or under the bed. And then when the nurse picks him up and they go, they cut his legs off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually thought they cut his legs off for the film, because when they pick him up and you literally see nothing underneath it, he said, on the movies that made us, he said, yeah, they thought, he said, it's like a magic trick. He said, they thought it was this, and then when we showed them there's no wires underneath, they're going, whoa.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I like that they took the time and effort to make that look realistic.
And for the CGI to age this well.
Oh yeah.
Here we are in 2022, and even after the digitalization and the high definition up at 4K, high dynamic range and all that, it is still seamless. There's not like, that was, you can't look at that and go, yeah, that's computer generated. There's
Well, I agree with Justin. A couple of the presidential scenes are a little
right.
glitchy, but otherwise, man, you're right. What a way to hold up over time.
Any slow parts or anything the whole ride that either of you noticed on the most recent viewing with a critical lens? Did you?
I've seen this probably 5 or 6 times, and I was still enthralled by it.
Yep.
Yeah, there's literally and this movie's 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, it's a long one.
But
It flew by for me.
yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
I mean, even his running part, I was caught up in the soundtrack and,
Yeah.
and the sights, and I was like, man,
Yeah.
you know, it's just beautiful where he's running. Even, you know, and I even looked for a little bit of Appalachia, and you see just a little clip where he runs through a crooked road with, you know, during the fall.
right.
I was like, heck yeah, bring in a little West Virginia there.
They throw in some jokes as well, like where he steps in poop and
Yeah.
says it happens, and but
Yeah.
like that's something a younger person would be like, what does that?
Yeah, what's that mean?
Yeah.
You'd have to
Or the
have grown
smiley
up
face.
in the '70s where you saw those bumper stickers. I mean, I didn't know I kind of knew, but my dad kind of filled me in on that. That people actually rode around with that as their bumper sticker.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a hot selling thing.
Yeah, that and
Yeah,
the smiley face.
T-shirt. I mean, a younger person might be like, okay, like
Big
who
whoop.
cares? Yeah.
It's for a 2.5 hour film. I cannot see a single second of the movie being clipped out. I mean, in my opinion, there was absolutely no filler in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's one of those. I'm glad that it was made when it was, because I think if they tried to do it today, like if Forrest Gump had never existed.
You know what's crazy?
What?
I've been to Chippewa Square, Savannah, Georgia.
You have?
I have.
And
I
never-
just realized it.
Oh,
That's where
the park.
the bus.
The park where you sit on the bench. Isn't that some crap? I did not know that. I literally was there in February,
Man.
thought-
beginning of February, so just about 5, 6, 7 weeks ago.
Oh
I
man.
thought it said something like they had to remove that bench.
They took the bench out.
Because
Yeah.
somebody was gonna. They knew somebody would try to steal it.
It
Yeah.
went in the historical monuments. But I mean, yeah, I literally was there, and I think I took a picture right around that area because it was nighttime and didn't even think about it. All right, sorry, go ahead.
I'm glad that they made the movie when they did, because I think if they would, like, if it never existed and they try to make it now, they would try to add so much filler and crap on it that it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, I think it would be over the top like they tried to do on a lot of other movies.
Yeah, I think they would try to refer back more to the book, and
Yeah.
it wouldn't work.
So he was, when I said he was in Appalachians, he was Blue Ridge Parkway, North Carolina. Monument Valley, Utah, Arizona.
Yeah, I haven't seen many films, certainly not recent films, that just hit all the notes and are able to take you on this journey, give you some laughs and some inspiration, and some smiles and some brutally sad scenes all at once.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh, yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't. You hear that people say that they don't make movies like this anymore, but
Right.
yeah, and to just move so quickly and seamlessly, make 2.5 hours fly by, whereas some other movies you watch, I mean, you're just
You're watching the timer.
checking the clock,
Yeah.
and so many characters and so many interweaving stories and the history too. I mean, this is I don't know. I don't know of any other movie like it.
I actually found myself, because it's been several years since I've watched it last, and I found myself looking at Jenny in particular in a different lens. Because always before it, I always watched this, like, I kind of hated Jenny because, like, here you are making all these dumb decisions in life, and the only stability is Forrest, and yet you're just fighting it tooth and nail. Watching it this time around, I'm like, you know what? I get it now.
Childhood
like-
abuse and
Yeah,
Mhm.
all the crap she had to deal with as a kid. It's no wonder she turned out the way she did, and I found myself feeling sorry for her. It's like, I get it now.
it's a kind of genius way of doing storytelling through Forrest's eyes, because he kind of doesn't understand, but he's like, for some reason Jenny didn't want to go home. Like she
Yeah.
always wanted to stay out late.
Right.
It's like he doesn't ever say, hey, Jenny had an abusive dad, because he
Yeah.
doesn't understand it. He's just like,
Yeah, he
there was
doesn't.
something going on. I don't know. and then you as the viewer are kind of filled in on a story through like his eyes of just his observations, which it's. I think it's a more like artful way to tell a story than to literally say like show scenes of like Jenny getting beat or something.
Yeah.
Right.
To kind of like hint that there's something bad going on.
And it's kind of so. This whole movie went astray like that because normally, there's 3 parts to a movie. You have the build up, the scene, and then the final. This one had multiples of those. It had you going. Like, did you guys think? I don't know. You've seen the movie, obviously, but like him joining the army right after college. What are the odds? Because Bubba gets in there. I was drafted. And he joins the army because they handed him a pamphlet
Right.
as a college graduate.
Yeah.
Back in the day, that was crazy.
Yeah.
You got no college graduates didn't go just join the army.
Right.
So the bounce along trail that he travels is so sporadic.
Yeah.
I was trying to think back to when I first watched it, but I don't know that I appreciate it like that. So the critic's lens, like you say, Joe, is cast a different light on that. And it's the same way with Jenny. They both kind of roll through. Like she was in college and got kicked out because she, had a Playboy scandal.
Right. Now, I did not know this. I want to see what you guys think.
Yeah.
It was originally scripted and shot that a young Jenny kills her dad by releasing the tractor handbrake and runs him down the cornfield. They removed it as the filmmaker decided audiences wouldn't forgive Jenny for such a violent act, no matter how evil her father was.
Yeah.
The deleted scene can be seen in the 25th anniversary Blu-ray.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I never knew
you
that.
don't need that in there, I don't think.
And it's weird because Forrest and Jenny are both opposites. He's mom, religion, apple pie. She's sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Yeah.
Broken home, So, and yet they kind of find themselves back to each other.
Yeah.
It's kind of. Is it implied that his Forrest's dad is dead or just left and has never come back? Like left the family, abandoned them, or whatever.
Well, now
They never say, yeah.
Yeah,
He went
well,
on vacation.
he's on vacation. Now, I seen an internet meme, and it's so funny. That actually, I kind of forgot about it, Justin. I'm glad you brought this up. That there's a conspiracy theory that they think the bandit from Smokey and the Bandit, they think Burt Reynolds is the father.
Oh, my
Because it makes
gosh.
perfect sense because he's never around. He just comes and goes.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
and he's in
Sally
Alabama.
Sally
Mhm.
Field, yep.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, that is too funny. That it makes perfect sense because it falls right in that timeline and it's right along that route. So it's like, oh man,
Oh,
the
yeah.
bandit could be Forrest's dad. It is completely and the
Yeah,
way
yeah.
Forrest and the way the story goes, I would believe that. So I'm gonna ask you guys, if it turned out like they made some kind of sequel or backstory or whatever and found out that Bandit was Forrest's dad, would you guys buy into that?
Yeah, I could get into that.
Dave?
Yeah.
Just for the fun of it.
Yeah, I
Because the
mean,
way
this
everything
whole
else-
movie's kind of whimsical, so why not?
Yeah, because the way everything falls into place is like I could see that they could make that if they do it right, which obviously they could.
Oh, yeah.
That it would just fall right into place. Like she fell in love with this truck driver. That she was a runaway bride, and it's like yeah, I could completely see that being in the realm of possibility.
Yeah, and she kind of has the same attitude with the whole principal. He's like, he's on vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. He makes a late appearance, but man, Haley Joel Osment,
Yeah.
great little child
Hi-
actor.
His first appearance in film.
that
Yeah.
plays Forrest's son.
And do you know how they found him? The producer saw him in a Pizza Hut commercial.
Mm.
And he just had like a little 3-second clip in the Pizza Hut commercial. She goes, "I want that kid," and that's all it took.
It's like, this is Forrest Gump. Can you say hi? He's like, hi, Mr. Gump. Can I go watch TV now?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
And
Kind of that's sad that, they're kind of looking at him in the other room, and Forrest has to ask, like, is he slow, basically.
yeah,
He doesn't say it, but he's like, is he? And she's like, he's totally fine. He's smart, or I don't know.
yeah, that
He's so like self-conscious about he didn't want his son to have
the same.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a hard scene to watch too because
Yeah.
you literally Forrest goes quiet, but literally you see everything on
Panic.
his face.
You see panic in his
I mean,
eyes.
you can literally watch his brain turning, and you can literally see literally what's going on in his mind across his face. Is like, I have a son I never knew about. Is he okay? Is there something wrong with him? You literally just see, for someone to have what they call, slow wit, force, but yet had the exact same reactions as anybody else in the situation, phenomenal. It's literally, you just see, you see the action of, I have a son. Oh, you mean I have been around for, I have been part of his life, and then, oh no, is he have the same issues I have? It's for what is it? I'm gonna be gracious here. 5 seconds, guys, of him just standing there, just trying to process it. I mean, it's a very short time.
Oh yeah, but I know what you mean. The way he's able to show so much on his face as an actor.
Yeah, but to be able to literally know exactly what he's thinking for that 5-second window, it's just
amazing acting.
Yes.
What a move to not let him know for like 3 or 4 years that he has a son.
Yeah.
And then just be like, oh hey.
Okay. Well, if she hadn't got sick, would she? That's what I was thinking. If she hadn't got sick and then she's dying, would she have wrote him a letter?
I wondered the same thing. It's like, okay,
and to get married, knowing you're gonna die in like a year.
Yeah.
Would you marry me, Forrest? Finally, she asked him right before she's about to die. So
and I think, and I think that's where I've always kind of just hated her for that, because it's like, okay, did you really want to marry him because you love him, or was it for stability for the kid, or are you just wanting, I think that's where, until this time around I watched it, I always kind of had that little dig against her. It's like, okay, what was your intention? Did you really finally realize that the true love was there, or it was like, are you just trying to get that one last little squeeze out of that lemon before you kick the bucket? He's very.
I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like you had your opportunity. You could have been set for life, but you wait till now. Very.
So sad seeing him getting strung along the whole movie.
Yes.
He's like, I would be a good husband. She's just like, nah, sorry. Poor Forrest.
Now, did you see when Jenny opens up the scrapbook and shows him all the clippings? Did you see the National Enquirer headline says, "Go-Go dancer claims that Forrest is her secret lover"?
Yeah.
They think that, from what I read, they think that there was posted to make you think that Jenny actually spoke to the National Enquirer. Because where she was, she did all that stuff. Is like, they want you to believe that might actually been Jenny that was the one talking to the National Enquirer.
So many scenes through this movie. We could go on for hours and hours.
Yep.
Well, I had a feeling when we decided to do this, it was like, oh, this is going to be a long episode and well deserved. I mean, this is almost one you could almost make a 2-parter out of.
Oh yeah, easy.
I don't even know how far we're in on this one, but yet we're still in depth of conversation.
An hour and 8 minutes.
Wow.
I think this one's got to be in my top 5 all time.
Oh, it's in everybody's.
Yeah.
Unless they're knuckleheads.
Yeah. Or born after 19 or 2000 maybe.
Well, I was just reading some of the fun facts there, and it's saying that they thought it wouldn't go across the generations, but it has. And then they thought, well, it wouldn't be an international, but it is.
Yeah.
So it's well beyond their expectations, which is nice.
And just like Justin brought up,
it's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah. It's just like what Justin brought up at the beginning.
You guys didn't even get my movie quote right there.
What did you say?
Yeah, money. One less thing you got to worry about.
Oh, true.
So that was nice, because now that's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah. That and Lieutenant Dan had me invest in some kind of fruit company.
Yeah.
Not my gazillionaire.
Opens the letter, it's got the Apple logo up top. Some sort of fruit company. Great.
But Justin brought it up right at the top of the show that the scene where Jenny dies. I don't care how many times you see that. That is still the way to get that scene to hit you in the gut every time, because no matter if you watched it the first time or the 100th time, you know it's coming.
Oh,
you know what's going to happen.
Towards the end of the movie, and then I realized, oh man, we're getting close to that one scene.
Yes.
Like, crap.
Yeah, and you know it's coming. You know what's going to happen. And any other movie, when you get that scene, you go, I know it's going to happen, and you just sit and you just wait it out. But this one just still hits you every time.
Crazy.
No
What an
wonder
actor. What an actor.
to be able to hit you in the gut every time with that, and you know it's coming, but it'll still.
So then, does that make you think that that's the best way to tell this story? That not that they live happily ever after? Keep going with the, just keep going for the emotional
That
stuff. I mean, or would you be okay with the movie ending with them?
the way it did.
I'm okay with the way it is. I think you gotta pull the curtain closed on a fantastic show. You leave everybody wanting more. You know what I mean?
You kind of got to show the consequences of her rough life too. Like, tells the story of all the roads she went down and how it ended up.
Yeah, it would we have liked to have seen Forrest, Jenny, and little Forrest live happily ever after? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It would have been a perfect story, but I think it would have soured the movie from the fact of, to this point, we've watched Forrest's whole life, and it's all, and for the most part, it's believable.
Yeah.
But then if we would have gotten that happily ever after, you'd been, you get the movie ending. It almost plays out and like, okay, yeah, this is. It
Life
continues on that line
life
of
isn't always,
it continues down that line of this is real life. This is what happens. You don't always get that feel good move at the end.
Yeah.
So
I think
as much as I hate to say, I don't think I would have, and it pains me to say this because it's, you want that, you crave that happy ending. It's like, I don't think as much as I crave it, I don't think I want it. Because you want Forrest to win at the end. I mean, you see this poor guy have ups and downs. Just when you think he's on top of the world, he gets kicked in the gut with reality. He gets beat up in school. He gets bullied all in school, but he makes it to college. He makes it to college. He's on top of the world. He graduates. Then he gets in the army. He finds a best friend, Bubba. Bubba gets killed. He gets ping pong and gets all this money to become a shrimp boat captain. His mom dies. It's like he can't get ahead.
Oh, I don't know. The Apple stock pretty.
Well, okay, yeah, but
I mean, he didn't have to worry about money.
Right.
Well, I thought he and his mom talking while she's on her deathbed is right up there with the final scene with Jenny's grave in terms of emotional, just tear you up.
Yes.
That whole talk he gets to have with his mom.
Yes. And then she drops the knowledge of the life is like a box of chocolates.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going at least medium on this one, I think.
Well, I'm glad we're out of the possibility of small or burn on this one.
Even.
Yeah. This is a timeless movie. I mean, I know we've said this 1,000 times, but it
deserves all the praise.
Yes. So Dave, I have to say this is a great call to change gears.
Yeah.
And do this one for the 50th. I mean it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's iconic, and I know in the beginning they were kind of like the movie company wasn't big on it. They had to struggle with the finances, but man, what a payoff!
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes me like look back at say Tinder Swindler. You can look at it and be like, it was a well-made documentary, but it doesn't offer a thimbleful, maybe close to the same amount of what you get out of a movie like this.
Yeah.
It's like, that's interesting. It's a story. They shot it well. They put all the stuff together, but doesn't hold a candle to me in terms of the experience you get out of it.
Well, and it's weird how this works out. Like, no matter where you are in life, no matter what your past was, I guarantee it, there's at least a little element in there that you can associate with.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent, there is at least a little element in this movie that there has a scene in that movie that you can associate, like, I've experienced that in my life. No matter how big or small, there's an element in this movie that you can say, I've been there. You know, I was that kid that was bullied, or I had a best friend that died, or whatever. There's that little niche there that you can associate yourself with.
Yeah.
I
Funny how many guys he punched to protect Jenny throughout the movie.
And can hold his own. I mean, drag that guy out of the car at the college scene, and then
that guy's like, "What the heck? This guy's punching me. I'm out of here."
Yeah.
That was good. It's like, Forrest, what the heck? Can't keep doing this.
Yeah. You can't keep saving me.
Why do you do this? I can't help it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's rate this baby up.
All right, Joe. You want
Do we even need to rate it?
No.
Does this one need a rating?
No. Can we give 2 mop buckets or no?
Okay. Well. Okay. Thank you. I was seriously contemplating that last
We need
night.
a new category.
Yeah. So I was going to say at least mop buckets, but I didn't know how you like. I was even considering like the whole container that they cook the popcorn in. It's like, can we just count that?
Well, I think mop bucket it has to be the highest, but you can do overflowing mop bucket.
Yeah. Okay. So can we all agree like this at a minimum gets a mop bucket?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, easy. This is an iconic film. You could. So this is what I like about it, and I was thinking about this earlier as far as how to rate this one. But I think it's one of those movies where you can catch it at any part, midway, beginning, end. Catch 2 minutes of it, and you'll know exactly where it is.
Yep.
And you'll sit down like, oh yeah, and then walk away and be happy. You don't have to watch the whole thing. You don't have to see the endings. You don't have to catch any of the cliffhangers. You don't need the full story to give you what's going on. You just need a little taste of it to make you feel better throughout your day.
Unless you're like a minute before Jenny dies, then you won't feel
Well,
better.
yeah, I mean, but it's still a sweet scene.
Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong, it is, but yeah, if I see if I started at the part like when we find out Jenny's sick, I'm just going to go ahead and change the channel. I'm not going to watch because I'm not going to watch that last bit of the movie just to be bummed. I don't want the whole thing.
I got you, but I mean, it is kind of nice. The movie ends with son getting on the bus, having the same conversation with the same bus driver. The feather floating through the air. I don't know. It was a good movie. I'm glad that Tom Hanks was involved, and I'm glad they got the particular scenes in they wanted, because I just feel like it was a total package of a movie.
Yes.
Funny, sad, give you the man. That's weird that the Watergate scandal. JFK with Marilyn Monroe in the bathroom picture. Just stuff like that. That's kind of like little Easter eggs, and you're just like, neat stuff.
That's where I would have loved to have seen the sequel. But when I read that last night, it's like, come on, now you're just being dumb. Now
the sequel is just being dumb. You're right.
Well, like, okay, so he just happened to be in the back of the Bronco with OJ. It's like, that's not plausible. Now, if he happened to be running by,
or they pass in the street or something,
and seen OJ
drops his keys coming out of his house and he hands them back to him.
Or something like that. Okay, I'll buy into that. That's what I'm saying. If done right, I would love to have seen a sequel.
Yeah.
Now, the whole 9/11 thing, I get that.
Yeah.
Like, that one would be hard to...
Why does he have to be at the Oklahoma City bombing?
Okay.
No, I'm just saying,
well,
that's kind of... Pick a different thing. You be at a natural disaster, but not the Oklahoma City bombing. That's kind of warped.
Okay, so they said he was sitting on the bench waiting for this girl to have lunch with her, and all of a sudden the building blows up.
Right, I know. But I'm just saying that's kind of warped. I mean, really?
No way.
That's whoever had that thought needs to be fired.
Yeah, well, kind of read that, I was like, that's kind of reaching now. It's like,
I mean, natural disaster or a building catching on fire or something like that, but not the Oklahoma City bombing.
Because, I mean, look back at the ground they did cover in the 60s and 70s. I guarantee there's important events there that they didn't touch on.
Yeah.
So, like...
Well, they went away from Martin Luther King Jr. scene because it wasn't tasteful.
Right.
Manson murder, same thing. You wouldn't want to be like, oh, he was outside the house and thought he saw something.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's insensitive.
No, it's super insensitive.
But like, the Oklahoma thing, I think you could get a pass on not touching on that because that's kind of sacred ground you just don't touch. But not like the OJ thing, I could see them then doing that. As bad as that was, I'm not trying to talk it up, but as bad as that was, I could see them making that happen.
Yeah.
The Princess Diana thing, I could see that making that happen.
Okay.
Oklahoma, don't touch it. 9/11, don't touch it.
Yeah.
But everything else in between, the Clinton, Oh, could you imagine what they could have done with Clinton and Monica and Forrest?
Yeah.
So you have that on the other end of the spectrum. It's like, I would love to have seen how they would have injected Forrest into that.
Yeah.
But there are just some things that they can get a pass on not addressing.
And I gotta say, I think Gary Sinise should have won Best Supporting.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
I call
Definitely.
crap on that.
Yeah, that's a
Probably
crime and a
thing.
half there.
I think they just were seeing that they're cleaning up. They probably didn't. Well, I guess all the votes were in before, but they didn't want Forrest Gump to win everything. So
Well, why didn't Gary? Now, see, I would have gave a pass on that if Gary Sinise would have walked up and gave him a slap right on the air.
Oh gosh.
That would have been justifiable.
Well, I am going to say this. It's probably going to be dated by the time this gets out, but I will say I don't condone Will Smith in any manner. And I'm really disappointed in him because the bullying aspect of what he did with Chris Rock on stage is horrible.
yeah, we're just wrapping up Oscar season 2022. Will Smith won Best Actor, and then
That was
kinda
right after he
messed up his night by.
Yeah, I think, in my personal opinion, and I listened to a podcast this morning on the way to work, and I was just like, man, they should not have let him go on stage to get his award. They should have said, nope, if you're going to
Right.
insurrect violence
Right.
here at our award show, you just forfeited your rights to come up on stage and get your award. You still get the award, no problem, because that represents your work earlier, but nah, because that was just straight out bullying and ridiculous violence at a show.
Okay, I'm on the fence on now. Hold on, I'm on the fence on the fact I'm not sold that wasn't planned.
Nah.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
I thought it was a joke first time I saw the footage.
You know, where else could a person walk up on a stage, slap another person? Because there's security around that place. That security just don't come up and just tackle you and drag you off stage. I don't care who it is.
Look what Kanye did, though. And I mean, and it's Will Smith. You got to assume that he's going up there for some reason other than violence. Because Will Smith hasn't, and I'm just basing this off podcast, hadn't exhibited any violent behaviors before.
Right. But
And so what the podcast said was, this is Will Smith. He's, a professional. He's a great actor. He's known to be a nice guy. Who would have thought he'd have went up there to slap somebody?
But yet to just turn around and walk back and sit down like nothing
that's
had
what I think.
happened.
Everybody was in shock. I think it was just
Crazy.
like, did that really happen?
Yeah.
And then, but at that point, I could see it if they waited a couple of minutes, went to the commercial break, and then they sent security down. And was like, hey, you're out of here.
Right.
We're
But
going
they
to escort
did.
you outside and let you go. Yeah, no, they brought him up on stage. 'Cause
Yeah.
Then I bet somebody back there was like, well, he won an award though. How do we, kick him out after, when he needs to come up and get his award? But I wouldn't have gave him that platform. I
Right.
would've
That's
said,
what I'm
nope.
saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not sold on the. I'm on the fence on. It was
Nah, I
planned.
don't think it was.
And I'll give you another case in point. Back in, I don't remember if it's the 60s or 70s with Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, and but see that Andy Kaufman was always like that.
But with him and
That was his deal.
Jerry Lawler on David Letterman, he and Jerry had planned that before.
Yeah. But I mean, that's Andy Kaufman.
But David Letterman and nobody else was in on that. They all thought it was real live on the air. Him, getting slapped and then going on that tirade.
Yeah.
But only to find out that it was planned.
Right, but I'm just saying that was Andy Kaufman's MO. Will Smith has never exhibited anything. And then his son Jaden texted or tweeted out after the fact, that's how we do things. So I just, as a person in my profession with education, I'm just like, man, so now you're telling kids this is okay.
Yeah.
That's okay to show violence. And I really think it undermines his wife that she can't take care of herself, and so that now women have to have a protector around.
Right.
That's kind of going back in history. I don't agree with any of it.
Because here's where I think, who's to say that Will and and Jada didn't already have this little kind of black plan begin with. Chris goes, hey, they want me to do this joke, and Will goes, you know what?
Yeah.
Do the joke. I'll come up. I'll slap you. We'll have an exchange.
I don't think so.
Because they cut to Will during that joke, and Will starts to laugh, and Jada is 3 shades of just livid on her face, but then all of a sudden, as soon as the camera cuts off of him,
I don't know. I think Chris Rock hadn't said anything yet. We're a couple days past, but I think I don't know. I do say this: I admire Chris Rock's poise.
Yeah.
right?
That's what made me think it was a joke is because I was like, he hardly even reacted.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's the host of a show on national TV with
Crazy.
15 million people watching, and what do? You know, be embarrassed, walk off? You know, what do? He had enough professional poise to say, okay, hey, this is a little messed up, but you know, we got to go on, and you know, kudos to him. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a fan of Will. I was a fan of Will Smith. Now I'm disappointed in Will Smith.
Because
So you're saying you don't want to watch King Richard for our next book?
You know what really baffles me though? Did you see all like Richard came out and said, no, that's not representing family. That's embarrassing. You know, it's one thing to support your family and your kids. It's another to exhibit violence. So he did not endorse it because I guess in Will Smith's speech, he said something about, you know, winning this award, protecting your family is, you know, what happens, blah, blah. Well, you know, the dad that he portrayed came out against that and said, no, that's terrible behavior. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did a big pinned deal where he came out and said, you know, this is bad for women everywhere because now they need a Neanderthal protector, you know, and just, you know, terrible for the black community because, you know, what they need is more depicted violence in their lives. He said, nah, bad news across the board. So that's why I don't think it's fake because now, man, you've gotten a lot of people involved.
But why would the cameras have already clicked back to Will sitting there cussing like a sailor?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
If it wasn't planned, why would they have go ahead and kept poking the bear on that? Why didn't they just do a crowd shot or just
cut immediately and go to something else?
Yeah, or go straight to commercial.
Maybe they're not fast enough anymore. I don't know. I mean, you got to think there's a delay though, right?
Yeah, there's a 3-second delay button.
But maybe, you know, maybe they said, hey, this
70s.
is TV and actors are crazy. You know, look at the whole Kanye deal. He walked up on stage and tried to take a mic or whatever, and they kept showing that. That was ridiculous. So, I don't know. It's a tough call. I just think it's a poor depiction of, you know, what we expect out of our role models.
Must be something going on in his personal life
that's what they said on the
is not reflective of the usual image that we have of him.
And that's what they said on the podcast this morning. They're like, they cannot. The two hosts were just like, we can't believe it. That's not his MO. You know, whatever's going on behind the scenes has got him in a different mindset.
They're rumored to be basically separated while married and seeing other people, and she's.
I don't know. It's a tough call. And like I said, I really admired Will Smith and his work, but now I'm put off by it.
Well,
I just don't condone bullying. Let me put it that way.
I seen a post and it pretty much summarized it up. I didn't even know the Oscar was on until I heard about Chris.
Me too. That's I didn't watch any of it.
Maybe, and that's where I'm saying maybe it was a ratings ploy.
Yeah,
because hopefully not. Oh, sorry, Joe.
And maybe it's a ratings ploy because think about it. Here we are. Today's Wednesday, 3 days out, and it's still being talked about.
But it actually makes me want to watch the movie less now.
Me too, and that's what I'm gonna say. If this was a ratings ploy, Will Smith took one to the chin.
Yeah.
Because man, did it ever? It's gonna damage his appearance and image, and you know, and it's gonna. And like I say, I just think for the, you know, the community that he represents and how that works, I think that would be a ridiculously terrible thing for him to play off as a joke or whatever.
I hope he not just for show and not on Twitter, but actually makes an effort to.
He still didn't apologize apparently.
To apologize and mend it up with Mr. Rock.
Now, well, here his wife came out and said, you know, hey, we're here. I'm here for, you know, to whatever, mend the fence or whatever. But I mean, you know, she didn't even play a role in it.
He kind of implied, he said something along the lines of, as a celebrity, you have to deal with this sort of stuff all the time, and you're supposed to just sit there and laugh and take it. And he finally snapped.
Well, they brought up some stuff like, you know, will comedy roast be a thing anymore?
Yeah.
You know, if he's so sensitive, you know, and then what was the female comedian?
Kathy Griffin.
Yeah, Kathy Griffin had a great point. Do comedians have to worry now that if you offend somebody in the crowd, they're going to come up and punch you?
And
is that where we're at?
When I first heard
That's acceptable?
I was like, well, I didn't know she had a quote-unquote disease that's the reason she was bald. But then you look at it, it's not life-threatening. It's just your hair falls out.
Yeah.
So it's not like Chris Rock was making fun of a cancer patient or something.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, though, comedians make fun of everything.
Yeah.
That's what comedians do. Good, bad, or ugly, tasteless or not, racist or not, they make fun of everything.
Right.
And that's what comedians do. And, you know, if you're an actor or an actress at those shows, you got to know you're getting poked at.
Now Mick Foley, you guys remember him from Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah.
he made a tweet right on the heels of all that shaking down, and it made perfect sense.
Yeah.
If it was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson up on stage instead of Chris Rock,
Oh yeah.
would the same thing have happened?
Yeah, I agree. Right. See, and that's why I don't like it, because it's a bully situation.
Because it's like, okay, so
He's a lot bigger. He's a lot heavier. You know, Chris Rock's a little guy. Not saying anything bad about Chris Rock, but you know what I mean.
Right, compared to Will Smith,
he's not
he
like
is.
a boxer or played those ollie rolls and
Right.
stuff, you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a classic bully thing.
Yeah,
you know,
Dwayne
you're
Johnson was up there
Yeah.
doing that. Will Smith would have
Smacked him in the mouth?
Yeah,
Yeah, nah.
because Dwayne Johnson would have picked him up and just lawn darted him across.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
stage.
So that is just a bully move, bully tactics, and it's terrible. And I don't care. You know, I know Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's deal of, you know, hey, this is not what the black community needs. The white community doesn't need it. The Hispanic community, the Asian community,
Nobody
no
needs that.
community needed that.
Right.
And I just poor taste, really, really poor taste for Will Smith. And man, I'm disappointed in him. And I kind of agree with you, Justin. I kind of wanted to watch the King Richard movie, but now I'm like, man,
After so many years of him being pretty solid,
yeah,
like above average in terms of celebrities, seeming like a good guy, and then
pulling that move. What is he
regrettable,
thinking?
regrettable.
I mean, walk up there and say, hey, listen, that's a bad joke. You need to apologize to my wife. Do that.
Yeah,
You know,
even
do
that
that.
would be out of line, but it wouldn't be as anywhere near.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him
Yeah.
saying, hey, look at her. She has a condition, and that's not that funny. Please apologize, you know, and then let's get on with the show. But that's out of line.
Yeah. If
Nah,
he,
just walk up and smack him and then walk away and then cuss.
yeah, if he would have
It's
even
like,
done the
nah.
Kanye trick of just grabbing the mic out of his hand and
Yeah.
right in his mouth, that would have
Yeah.
that would have sparked a little bit of buzz, but that would have been it.
Yeah.
But now here's a rumor I did hear.
Yeah.
I heard that after that little fight, his mom got scared and sent him to his auntie and uncles in Bel Air.
All right, well, let's end the show on that news.
Do we go back to an Oscar pick again, or do we?
Oh,
Dave,
yeah.
on its
What's
date.
next? What's next?
It's either your pick, Dave, or we
Well,
revisit Oscar.
We were talking about this earlier. It's a shame because didn't think about it, but the Godfather's 50th anniversary, 50th year anniversary is now.
Right.
And I don't know. You guys want to do a 50th anniversary of The Godfather following on the heels of this? I mean, I know it's our 51st show.
Right.
What do you guys think?
But West Virginia's never been known to do its math very well, so
This is true.
so we get a pass on that.
So, have you guys ever seen The Godfather?
no.
It's been a long time.
I haven't.
Hold on. Let me
I've
see
seen
if we
parts
can even
of
get
it.
it first.
So I thought, because, you know, I haven't seen all of it. I've seen parts.
Okay, so far I'm only seeing. You got to buy it.
Really?
Can you give me hold on, let me look here.
Because I looked into the Academy Award winner for Best Picture, but you have to have Apple TV to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can only rent it or buy it.
That's some crap.
We had briefly talked about Don't Look Up. Joe was interested in seeing that. That's an Academy Award nominee. Or we can switch gears, get off the Academy train. Or Dave, you can just pick one from
All my
your
movies
list.
are good, so, you know.
I would just pick one from your list.
Forrest Gump was on my list. Marking it off.
Good deal.
Well, okay, since Godfather's out, I kind of want The Godfather to be my pick, but just because I haven't seen it and it's 1972 film,
Right.
So
and, 50th year, but we don't have a way to get it, so
to purchase it,
nah, let's not do that. I don't want to cost any money.
well, Joe, pay for it.
Attaboy, Joe.
Thanks,
I'm
Justin.
seeing $2.99 rent.
What do you guys feel like?
That's what I did with Forrest
You want a
Gump.
little comedy to come out of the Forrest Gump sadness? I mean, man, following Forrest Gump's tough.
See, Dave, you could have went and did the safe pass of just saying, yeah, Forrest Gump is my pick, but you just set yourself up for.
No, I mean, but still, 50th show's got to be special.
Right. Well, I'm saying is you could have played safe and go, yeah,
Yeah.
I changed my mind and Forrest Gump is my pick,
All
but you
mop
just
buckets. Yeah.
but you set yourself up. You've got a huge task right now to
I know.
keep in
That's why
pace
I
with-
like the challenge, though.
because you could have dumped that into my lap very easily, but I'm glad.
Well,
you
you're
didn't.
used to small buckets, so you know, nothing new there. You can take it.
Oh yeah, that. So you're calling Shawshank Redemption a small bucket?
Well, you know, there's a gem in every little pile, you know. All right, so what do you guys feel like? Tell me what you feel like. I got a lot of movies here. I literally have like 80 movies on my list.
and like.
So give me what you're feeling.
So Tiger King's not on that list.
It is not.
There goes my day.
Yeah. You have to use that as your pick if you want that small bucket. Do you feel nostalgic? Do you want an older movie, a newer movie, something funny, something not funny?
Well, we're gonna have to have at least a couple picks in case we can't find one.
All right. Have you guys ever seen Draft Day with Kevin Costner?
No.
2014 film.
It's on Tubi.
All right, let's go with a little drama. Draft Day.
Okay.
Throw you a little curveball. I bet you've never even heard of this one.
I've
Nope.
heard of it, just never watched it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
2014.
on Tubi.
Yeah. Jennifer Garner.
All right.
Ah.
Kevin Costner.
All right.
So Kevin
Episode
Costner and Jennifer
51.
Garner. This is gonna be
51, Draft Day. All right. We passed the 50 mark.
you have some big shoes to fill on this one, Dave.
This is Draft Day's kind of out of the side. I don't know. We'll see. I don't expect this to be mop bucket, but good think piece.
Let's do a little recap. We're at 50. What,
Yeah.
what are some memorable moments from our first 50 episodes for you guys?
Oh,
We've had
jeez.
Smokey and the Bandit. We've
The
had
General.
I Am Mother. We've had The General.
The Room.
Win-Win. The Disaster Artist / The Room.
Push.
Willow. Push. Yeah.
I forgot about Willow.
Uh,
The Push was a good one.
Throw Mama from a Train. That was interesting. That was one of the weirder ones for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I finally had a few minutes this week to work on our website. So I was working on the push and went back and listened to it, and man, did we
That's crazy.
was across the board on that, because that one was hard to scale, because we liked the movie for what it was, or the documentary for what it was, but then we found out it was all for entertainment purposes and not like an actual true social experiment.
I was glad I got to see the Princess Bride. I'd always heard about it.
Yeah,
That was an
yeah.
interesting movie for sure. I really liked Vision Quest, little 80s throwback that Dave picked. American Beauty. I mean, that's a pretty solid movie too. Very odd movie.
Oh, American Beauty. Yeah. Man, none of my good movies are free. It's kind of messed up.
Well, that's why they're good, or that's why they're not free, because they're good.
I know.
Awakenings was a complete blindside for me. That was,
Right.
although my personal,
That one.
as far as shows go, my favorite episode, because it was so funny and entertaining, was the episode we did on Howard the Duck. That is my personal go-to episode, because I laugh every time I turn that episode on. I laugh hysterically, just getting raked over the coals about it. I know that you guys hated that movie, but in particular here, Dave just like, it's not even worth burnt. You take the burnt popcorn, you throw it in the alley, you roll it around, you put it back in the bucket, and then they force feed someone with it. Shawshank Redemption. That one was, I'd never seen that one before. That one was another good one for me. The Disaster Artist. Justin, that one was a good one for me.
That one was good.
Because I had never seen either of them, and after watching Disaster Artist, I started. I didn't finish it, but
Yeah.
I actually started The Room, because I was like, okay, I have to sit down and watch this all the way through. And I didn't finish it because it was bad. It was just I ran out of time to watch it, and I just never went back to it.
You guys ever seen The Guardian with Kevin Costner?
No.
Ashton Kutcher? Jeez, it's not available either. What the heck, man? None of my good movies are able to be seen.
I think, yeah. Bullet. I was not a fan of Bullet. I don't know.
Which one was
That's not my
Bullet?
vibe. That's from 1968.
It's
Steve
the car,
McQueen.
about the car of Steve McQueen.
Oh, yeah, that one kind of, yeah.
Not
Now,
a
we could
fan.
do Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. You guys seen that?
No.
No.
Been a while.
1981. Harrison Ford. George Lucas. All right, I'll give you the choice then. Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, or Draft Day, Kevin Costner, Jennifer Garner.
I
Well, now,
I like the pocket we're in with Forrest Gump in the 90s. I'd rather stay there than zoom up to 2014, but that's just me.
how are you watching this? Because I see it on Paramount Plus.
Oh, is it not Amazon Prime?
No, it's on Paramount Plus.
It says Prime above that. Oh no, you got to do the 7-day free trial.
Well, hold on.
No, you're right.
No. Hold on. Let me do a little more research here
Yeah.
and see if I can find it. Let me get my phone out.
That's my vote, if we can do it. Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
Okay. Hold on. Let me see what I can find.
I like Costner. I didn't love him in Bull Durham.
Yeah. That's because you're crikey. Could watch Trading Places, Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, about the stock market. Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah. 1983. That's on my list.
Got some options here.
What about Star Wars? You guys seen Star Wars?
Yeah.
The original?
Not a fan.
Okay. I'll write it in. About the original Blade Runner.
I've seen most of it.
Yeah. About Rocky. Yo, Adrian. 1976. How about that? Could watch Rocky.
Yeah. I'd be up for that.
What a franchise. Little Sylvester Stallone, Burt Young, Carl Weathers. Yo, Adrian.
Okay, I might be able to find Indiana Jones. So, whatever you guys want to do.
So there's your choices. Rocky, 1976, the original. Indiana Jones, 1981. Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy, kind of a slapstick comedy, 1983. Indiana Jones is on, yeah, we didn't know about that one.
Okay, Indiana Jones
You might be able to get.
Okay, so Indiana Jones is on Paramount Plus.
Or
Rocky is on HBO Max.
Okay. Oh, I have that, yeah.
Okay, let me.
What do you guys feel like? I'll give you some choices. I'll let you pick your own mop bucket here. How about that?
Okay, and I'm looking up Trading
That's how confident I am in my list. Well, that's all right.
Okay, so Trading Places, you have to get stars.
Yeah,
for
it's
it.
a little slapstick anyway. Yeah. So what are we saying? Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Or
Rocky, or Draft Day? But you don't want Draft Day because it's too new.
Yeah.
All right, so Rocky or Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yeah.
I'm good with either.
Flip a coin.
I don't have a coin. Actually, I do. All right, so.
Okay, right here I've got. Okay, so I can flip it.
Heads is Rocky.
Okay, so
Joe's gonna use a computer.
yeah. So, which is which?
I got heads or tails. Okay, what do you got?
Okay.
Heads will be Rocky, tails will be Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
Bam. And it is tails.
All right.
So,
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Hold on, do your computer one you're gonna do. Just
Okay.
to see. Might have to go 2 out of 3.
It went tails.
Raiders of the Lost
Meant
Ark.
to be.
Yep.
All right, there we go. All right, join us next week, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Get your mop bucket ready.
Yep.
Because that's all I roll out.
Okay, now the popcorn mop bucket or mop bucket?
Oh, man.
Clean up the mess that you
Oh,
made.
Yeah.
come on now. We all know how this works.
That's hence why I said that.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
just
just
be mean.
For the record, I'm overflowing mop bucket on Forrest.
Yep, everybody.
Yeah, that was a bare minimum.
All right, take us out of here. Minute and 43. Or an hour and 43, sorry.
All right, so for all of our news and reviews, check out our website, beentherewatchthat.com. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at BTWTPod. And subscribe to the podcast, Been There, Watch That. And we're on all the major platforms. Leave us a 5-star review and send us your request or let us know how we're doing. If we nailed it out of the park on Forrest Gump or if Howard the Duck really isn't that bad.
No,
let
it's
us know.
that bad. There's no question. All right, well, Forrest Gump, an hour and 43. You're right, Joe. It took a long time. But
well worth it.
yeah, we'll be back next week. Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981. Harrison Ford. For myself, Joe, and Justin, everybody have a wonderful week. We'll be back. Been there? Watch that.